Hey, Frank, I'm Ahearn, privacy expert, author of How to Disappear, and I was a skip tracer. So I'm going to talk about how to find missing people. So these series of videos I'm going to do will talk about my experiences with locating people. There'll be times where I don't speak in detail about certain things because there's a lot of stalkers out there and I don't want to aid them. But if you're looking for someone and it's a legitimate reason, perhaps, the information I offer will provide a different way of looking at the situation and perhaps a different way of, going about, finding that person. So a bit about me. I was a skip tracer back in the 80s, the mid 80s. I worked for an investigative agency and I started doing skip tracing. But then I kind of evolved into doing more social engineering, which is basically extracting private information through pretty much, lying. And back then, there were very few databases. Databases were like bank information, credit card information, airline, criminal reports, motor vehicle reports. But, all that stuff was like tucked away in companies or government agencies. And you had to know someone who knew someone, like a cop who worked on the job, or somebody who worked in a phone company to get that information. But what happened was I figured out how I could pretext as, a phone repairman. Hi, this is Michael Christopher from Repair Dispatch. Our systems are down. Or, a bank teller. Hi, this is so-and-so from such and such bank. Can you bring up a customer account for me? I mean, that's the very basics of social engineering. So with my ability to social engineer and then take that information and hunt people down, I was extremely successful at it. I was really, really good. So that was basically how people were located in the past. Now, of course, life has changed where, the laws are extreme. You really can't do that stuff because it's just kind of not good. So I wouldn't suggest you try it at home. Today, you have social media, you have databases, there's other ways of finding people. Now, finding people really comes down to who you're looking for, why they're gone, and, what you know about them. Those are all contributing factors. Some people can easily be located through a database. You run somebody's name or their mobile number through a database and you get an address on them. The tricky part is confirming that they're at that address. Okay, the key to being a good skip tracer is not just finding the person, but having points of confirmation. So, when I would pretext someone, I'd be like, hi, how you doing? This is Pat Brown from such and such shipping company. We got a damaged package for you at such and such address. And often I would make a typo in the address or the wrong house number and have them correct me. So when they corrected me, it confirmed that they more likely are there. Or I'd say, listen, we deliver the package at 6 o'clock, and they'll be like, no, come at 6:30. So there are always ways of confirming someone's location. So the idea of just finding someone or thinking you found someone is one part of it. There has to be actions to confirm the individual is actually there. And when I was skip tracing, I always did the very basic thing first, because sometimes, investigators would get these cases in and they think it's, searching for, the long lost whatever of life, like Jimmy Hoffa. And in reality, I would call directory assistants and get a published number for them and then just work the magic from there. So I always believed in, you go back to the beginning, do the easy things first, go to their old information and just, this is disconnected, this is still working, maybe there's a forwarding, just following along one more time. And often you'll discover that the person is not hidden away in Oshkosh, but they're just a couple of blocks over or something of that nature. So that's basically the way I did things as a skip tracer. With social media, excuse me, sometimes you can locate people on social media, search their name in Google. There are these options. They're not always the greatest of options, but just because you find it online doesn't mean it's correct, doesn't mean it's the person you're looking for. But part of being a skip tracer, a good skip tracer, is being able to identify, good information from bad information and confirming, no, this piece of information belongs to that person. So with that said, I'm going to, be posting videos about different types of skip tracing. And if you want to learn more about the things I did, you can check out my book, I Was a Skip Tracer. It's pretty cool. It's a short book and just talks about, the days of social engineering. And with that said, check out my site.